So you're back.
I'm back.
Back from Mexico. How
Do
was
I look tan?
Yes.
Okay.
Why you?
I wanted to.
You like submitted to the me saying no.
I know, because I wanted to be like black as fuck, and people being like, "Oh my god, where were you?" And I could be like, "Oh, I was in Mexico."
That's the only reason you want to be okay.
Yeah, I like coming back, especially coming back to like 20-degree weather. I would have loved a nice tan, and I really do miss the beach.
20-degree weather.
I do. Can I make a recommendation though?
Sure.
So when people hear Mexico, they assume that my sister and I went to like Cancun or Tulum for our birthday vacation, but we actually went to Playa del Carmen, which I highly recommend more than those cities. One, it's a little bit more affordable, but you're also in the middle of a city.
Oh,
so
okay.
It's very walkable. You can do there's so many excursions, so many shops, and so many things to do in walking distance. So I highly recommend it. We also went to a amusement park, an adult amusement park, and
I
like a
remember
cave,
you telling me about that.
And that was fabulous.
I'm glad you had a good time. I'm happy you're back. But I missed you more. And we got a few things to talk about. Some things that's happening. We'll get right after the intro. So while that was playing, you were singing Luther Vandross.
House is not a home.
And I wanted to start there about the documentary.
Beautiful song.
We watched that right before you left.
Yeah.
We watched the documentary twice. And that's how you know it was good.
Upset.
Anytime we watched the documentary twice. But the reason why I wanted to bring that up, because you just finished a book.
I'm almost finished.
Oh, you almost finished. Okay, because I read one.
Well, I've read what is referred to as the definitive Luther Vandross biography. I could probably find the author, but it's very good. I became obsessed with all things Luther Vandross. And so like my childhood, I feel like, is defined by like Luther Vandross music. Like when I hear certain songs, I'm like, oh my God, it just brings me back to a time of my parents dancing in the living room, listening to like his records. Okay. So it was a great time. So when I saw that he was finally getting honored with that documentary, which was very well done, by the way. Yeah. I had to just like kind of do what we do. I went down a rabbit hole. I watched every performance of A House Is Not a Home on YouTube that exists. And then I'm currently reading Luther, The Life and Longing of Luther Vandross by Craig Seymour.
I can't wait to check it out.
I would
as soon as you finish. I got to wait till you finish.
Yes, I would definitely check that out. It's so good. It gives you such a backstory on him, even more so than the documentary, obviously. And it's very good. If you're a Luther Vandross fan, I would definitely listen to it or read it.
Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah, I can't wait to check it out. You know, I told my mother when we watched the doc, I was like, Ma, did you watch it? And she was a huge Luther fan. And it was I might get in trouble for this, but you know, it was an ongoing joke because she would like Luther and my dad like, whatever. But then she'd be like, I ain't say nothing. He'd be talking about Tina Turner.
Oh, spicy.
So that was always fun. But you know, growing up, like, unfortunately, like I had to have been like at school or something when Luther died. And I remember my mother told me like she was crying. She was like, no, you know what? It was a false alarm. And I remember she said she was about to be in tears. And she said, come to find out it wasn't true. And I do think she, you know, wept for good old Luther.
Yeah, he was like a part of the family, especially for like that generation. And I love that it connects so many, because I went down rabbit holes and Luther always wanted his music to be considered timeless. Yeah. He wanted it to connect generations. Like he has said that verbatim. Nice. So the fact that I'm still watching him perform and I'm still like, oh my God, this is beautiful.
See, and I went the audio music.
Rabbit hole. Yeah.
Like, I kept listening to I'd Rather.
Oh, I love that song.
And I was thinking about us.
Aww. Beautiful love song.
It is.
Beautiful love songs. I remember in the doc, Jamie Foxx saying how guys would, like, if they didn't know how to express their feelings
just play some
to
Luther.
women, he'd be like, hold on. And he would play a Luther Vandross song because there's no better love person to perform a love song than Luther Vandross. He has such an appreciation for lyrics and song lyrics, and love songs was his niche, and he knew that, and he felt it. You can feel it in his music. Yeah. And that's why a lot of his album titles are like Love Always Luther, Loving, those sorts of things, because that's what he was all about.
Yes, unfortunately, it's none like him. You just can't, like, how people like try to compare like Chris Brown and Michael Jackson, and it's like, no, but like I get where they're going because they both could like sing and dance. You just don't. With Luther,
just can't.
You just don't.
And he knew that. Like, he always said that he was appreciative because he was a background singer for a lot of his career before he took off as a solo artist. It was very hard for him to take off as a solo artist for many different reasons. And he said how grateful he was that when he did finally pop as a breakthrough solo artist, no one said he was the next anything. Yeah. They just said, no, this is Luther Vandross. Like, he was so meticulous about his art, his music. He was very hands-on with everything he did, and he learned so much from playing the background, being a producer, being an arranger, being a background vocalist, touring with like David Bowie. So by the time he became a solo artist, he knew everything that he wanted to do and how to do it, and he did it.
Nah, indeed. I'm glad that, we got a chance to like talk about this.
Yeah, like, I was kind of waiting to talk about it. Like, I was like, does anyone want to watch the Luther doc with me? Does anyone want to talk about Luther Vandross? Because I'm all the way here for
and
it.
We can't, without closing this segment out, the biggest thing that I learned from you about Luther was he was a wrestling fan.
He was a huge wrestling fan.
Yeah.
Huge wrestling fan. His bandmates and stuff talk about how, if wrestling was on, everybody kind of had to be quiet so he can watch it. He watched SmackDown, I heard. He has talked about Andre the Giant and Hulk Hogan. Like, he is one of us, y'all. Like, one of us. I'm sure if he would have met one of us, and we would have definitely been talking about wrestling with Luther Vandross.
Yes.
That just makes me love him so much.
Yeah. I can't wait to like, check out that book and, watch some more like concerts and stuff. But let's move on a little bit. While you were gone, we saw the rise and fall and the fall and the rise back of TikTok.
Yes.
Did you crash out?
I did not.
You didn't?
I didn't. I would think I remember telling you, like, deep down inside, like, I just knew that it was not gonna end. Yeah. Like, TikTok is, unfortunately, and it really just sucks where we are as a fucking society, that TikTok is so influential that a current president used it to manipulate public opinion about him. Yeah. That's how influential this social media network was. So I was never really pressed. Like, I had planned to do all this content to put on those wrestling girls TikTok. Follow us. To basically say, like, because our TikTok is popping, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna make these videos saying where to follow us on Instagram and YouTube, and so we don't lose that community. And it was something that I was just like, it's no.
First of all, I love the work ethic. You had plans for the next part. Can I be honest?
Yes. You was crashing out, dude.
Nah, not even. I was like, okay, on one hand, it sucks because I've grown a following for myself over there. I've grown a following for my work account. I do enjoy your TikTok content. Thank you. But then there's the other part of me is like, one less social media thing.
But you also work. You do a lot of work on the social medias.
Yeah.
So I think one less thing probably would have been ideal.
See, because like, all right, we've seen everything, right? Remember last year? I don't know if you jumped into it as heavy spill. All right, yeah, there was.
I realized I had social media fatigue. Yeah. Like, I think TikTok might be like in Threads, because you might be I love Threads. Might be the last one that I fully commit to. Like, I'm officially fucking old. I'm 35. I just turned 35. Hey. Maybe I'm just officially old now because I can't get into another one. Like, I have a Blue Sky. I just can't.
You posted one thing.
Find my. It's just so much. Like, it's so much.
Yeah. So like, that's the thing, right? So I got with Blue Sky, and I'm like, all right, I like this app. Cool. But then by default, when I want to engage in conversation, it's X.
Yeah, that's my default.
Yeah, you know, but like Threads, you've been helping, and then the Unrivaled, which we'll get into very soon. Getting into that, but I'm like, TikTok is fun for what it is. I was talking to my godbrother Mike about this the other day because he was like, he has TikTok on his phone, but he don't use it. He was like, the only way I watch a TikTok if somebody send it to me. I was like, oh, so you be on Instagram Reels? He said, yeah, because like even scrolling that, you find yourself in the rabbit hole. With TikTok, you know, you be sitting there, boom, boom. And you know, I think the difference with TikTok is you find that it's older people and younger people that scroll that rabbit hole. I've been in places, in stores, I'm seeing older people. Yes. Like, you know, we think of kids.
I saw this on TikTok. And it's just like, oh my God, it's crazy.
But I just think it was funny that we saw the rise, the crash out, people going crazy. But I will say this. I'm going to be honest with you. If I could figure out and there's somebody willing to buy my phone for $16,000, yes.
Just for fucking TikTok.
They was buying phones for $16,000. Look, that gives me, I'm going to say it. That gives me the money to pay off that phone. Yep. Send it. Look, give me I'll take off every single part of my information, all the apps, and leave TikTok. Yep. They can have $16,000. That's
wild. And for a fucking social media platform.
Well, you remember when Clubhouse came out? Mm-hmm. You remember when people were selling Clubhouse invites?
Yes, that was crazy. Clubhouse was not that deep.
It wasn't.
I mean, I always had an iPhone, so I always had.
Yeah.
And I did get I wasn't pressed for invites. Let's put it that way. Mm-hmm. But that was crazy that one point, and I don't think Clubhouse was worth it. Although during it was a moment.
You can't duplicate it.
A moment, yes.
It came at the end of 2020 where it really jumped off, and we'll get into it. I told you, I promise we'll get. But I got to make this. I got a chance to talk to Lisa Leslie, and she said, "Brian." She said, "Hey, Brian. Well, you know, good point, Brian." So,
is there another Brian in the
Wow. I wasn't expecting. But it made me mark out. I'm like, that's Lisa Leslie.
Celebrities were definitely in Clubhouse talking that shit.
Oh, all right. Let's go there. Mace said he's the number 2 biggest artist in Bad Boy. He said that in a Clubhouse. And he was like, you know, because somebody was kissing his ass. Yeah, you know, you did this and you did that. And I got to say, you know, after Biggie, it's you. He's like, who else could it be? And I was like sitting there thinking.
That's a good point. Are you thinking rappers?
They was just saying Bad Boy, period. And I'm like...
See, it's hard because Bad Boy artists don't have a lot of longevity.
That's the thing.
And the thing with Biggie is he has that legacy aspect because he's not here anymore. So people like, you know what they do.
And he made an impact.
He did.
We can't deny.
I'm from New York City. He made a huge impact. But it's hard to compare. Yeah. I guess you could say Mace.
Probably because he's memorable and had the biggest hits.
He's still around. He, you know...
But that was funny. I remember that because, again, you know, Mace was my guy. So I was like, yo, I'm in a Clubhouse with Mace. But that was the thing. And we met a lot of like cool wrestling people. Shout out to Justin JMT Talks. That's my brother right there. He created the, I remember my boy David Shealy, shout out to him, gave me some great advice the other day. And he was like, yo, I found a wrestling Clubhouse. And then boom, next thing you know, we all in there. And I think maybe at one point in time, I probably DM'd you, was like, hey, you in this, are you on Clubhouse? And I remember one time you was like, let's start a Clubhouse show.
I did want to.
Yeah.
I did. Because I was like, oh, okay, if this is going to be the new thing.
And that was when, you know, everything was just strictly platonic and we was just good friends. And I just thought that was like, and I remember thinking at that time, like, all right, so are we going to do this? Are we going to do this? But I didn't want to press you, you know, because like, that was the time. And we could jump on this a little bit. That was the time when I was a Hulk Hogan. Oof. I was like, not defending Hulk Hogan. I was
kind of.
No, I wasn't. If you remember, I told everybody, and I remember this vividly, because Justin thought I was going to go all the way right. He's like, I got somebody on the line who feels differently from everybody, because everybody's mad about WrestleMania 37. And I said, here's the thing. Y'all don't hate Hulk Hogan. Y'all still hate Hulk Hogan, but y'all was hating him before. That's all I said. And it shocked him. He's like, I thought you was going to go fully hard for him. And I was like, no, like Titus shouldn't be in this position. But that was the days of Clubhouse. And we saw that app was a moment. TikTok had that longevity.
It has longevity because it gives you everything.
It do.
It literally gives you everything.
I be looking recipes up sometimes.
Yo, you can look up everything.
It's the search engine because you get the same stuff on Instagram Reels.
Like how to do my eyebrows perfectly, how to clean my pipes in my kitchen sink. Like you could literally look up anything on TikTok, and you can create content about anything on TikTok.
They could have took Temu instead, though. Take Tubi.
Now you cannot live without
Whoa!
Tubi. Brian H. Waters love him a Tubi original movie.
I like bringing them up to you because I feel like you'll find stuff.
He watches one a day.
Not really. It'd be so funny
That's
stuff.
What I speculate.
I'm not. Look. I'm not hating. I'm not hating on Tubi, but I got to talk about this. You got to talk about this. We're excited about it. Unrivaled is here.
Love it.
All right, so are you going to declare the world your team? Because I'm going to tell you mine's the Lunar House, led by my girl.
Okay, so I was conflicted before the league started because I was just like, I love it. I love Unrivaled.
Yes.
I love everything about it, right? So I didn't know who to choose.
We talked about that.
There were, I think there's 6 teams?
Let's say there's 6 or 8.
I think there's, And, there's players that I know of that are sprinkled throughout all the teams. I was really conflicted. And then the league started. And I was like, okay, I think it was your advice. You were like, just go where your favorite player is playing. And I was like, okay, well, Breonna Stewart is on the Mist. I'm going to just by default.
It's 6 teams.
6 teams, okay. I'm going to choose Mist. And then the first game was against Nafisa Collier on the Owls. So I was like, oh, this is a great opener. Brianna.
Your team versus my team.
Yes, Mist all the way. And then I chose Phantom because of Sabrina. And then I was also rooting for Vinyl was like my third because of Teresa Witherspoon. Yeah. And
legend.
Yes, super legend. And as of right now, the Mist are 0-4.
Yes. It's okay.
Phantom, I think, is like 1-2 or 1-3 or some shit like that because they were on the chopping block as well. But it's been really fun to watch.
Yes.
I still have high hopes for the Mist, but I think Vinyl's my official team.
Wow. Look, my team.
They've been killing
my team
it.
4-0.
They were an underdog.
I told you it's a favorite player. My favorite player in the league once Candace Parker retired was Skylar Diggins-Smith. And
star making.
I mean, shot. Yeah, the kick off the league, game winner. Yeah,
game winner. But
what's intense. So fun about this, right, is watching the third quarter because it's like what literally makes or breaks the game, right? If the game is close, you know you in for an epic fourth quarter. If it's like this is like, all right, that fourth quarter, it feel like it's gonna go like that. So, but it's also fun seeing. Kind of like with there being less people on the court, it kind of feels easier to like get acclimated with the ladies if you're not already. You know what I mean? And I mean, I'm loving everything about it. I'm loving the benefits that the women are getting.
Absolutely.
You was telling me about?
Yeah, they their salaries are higher than WNBA. They're just afforded more. They get like legit chain of facilities and it's just an amazing time. Then they're playing in Miami. So like the weather conditions are nice. And like you have to think about that because if you guys knew what the women have to endure to make a living as a basketball player throughout the year overseas when WNBA is not in season, the living conditions are insane what these women have to put up with. Like, and they do make good money and it's really just so that they can fucking survive professionally as athletes.
Even in your sister's favorite movie, Loving Basketball, is glorified when she says, "Oh, girl, you gotta come over here. We treat her like queens." This and it's not that way everywhere overseas. You gotta go where you're wanted, and like you said, to keep up a decent living allows you to stay in shape. But it's not like the men where. All right, LeBron James can chill for the offseason. If he don't want to do anything, he could go sit at home, live on his millions.
So yeah, Unrivaled definitely bridges that gap. And I read something and it's about feeling appreciated. And I don't remember who said it. Maybe it was Stewie or BG. But when you're taken care of it at home that way, being paid a decent salary, having the bare minimum met in such a real way, it just does a lot. Like, it's like, wow, like y'all appreciate me back home. I don't have to play. Mind you, they're playing overseas more than they do here.
Yes.
Because the WNBA season is so short. So it's like, you know, and then we see what happened at BG. So it's just beautiful to see that they get this situation like this, you know, these 3 or 4 months in Miami, being able to stay in shape. And the physicality of the 3-on-3 is insane. Like Candace Parker and I don't know the other ladies that are on like the panel that the broadcast team, like Lisa Leslie, and they were just basically saying like they can see the toll it's taking on players, and how I was listening to a touch more and with Sue Bird and Megarino, and Sue was basically saying like that's gonna also be a factor, because these girls are playing hard and they're probably gonna be in the best shape possible. Like she said something like they're coaches in the WNBA are going to be happy because these women are going to come back fucking ripped in like real good shape.
You know, I'm very excited, but I got to bring this up because we're talking basketball and you're a sports girly. You know, shout out to Kelsey Plum. She was recently honored by her college. There's a rumor.
Only one of the first one.
What?
That in like her jersey being retired.
I'm not sure. I could see. I mean, I don't know. Like most of the time, see the thing about like women's college basketball, the schools you hear about, USC because of Cheryl Miller and now Juju. You hear about South Carolina, Asia Wilson, and so many legends. Dawn Staley. That's enough. Like enough said, right? UConn because of everybody went there. Tennessee. Sue Bird, Maya Moore. Paige Buckner's is there. I mean, Diana Taurasi. I mean, it just goes on and on. They was always winning. Tennessee, Pat Summitt, the late Pat Summitt, and Candace Parker. You hear about Notre Dame a little bit now because they got Hidalgo, who's probably the best player in college sports. She beat Juju and Paige this year. But then you also had like, that's where Skylar Diggins-Smith went. But I didn't hear about Washington, honestly, until I remember Kelsey Plum being in college as she was like breaking the record and stuff. There's a rumor or trade rumor because she's probably not going to stay with the Aces that she could become a Los Angeles Spark. Look, you came in to sports right on top. Immediately, you jump in, y'all win the championship the first year. Like I said, my first year of like really getting into sports and like baseball, I came at the tail end of 95, right? That was the year Cal Ripken broke the record. The next year, the Orioles were a playoff team, almost get to the World Series. Jeffrey Mayer. And then the next year, they was the number 1 team, and then they lost. But it was like I was used to that, like wired, like okay, we're gonna be good all the time. And then I suffered heartbreak for 12 years or 7, whatever. But you know, but my Sparks, we've been down bad, you know. And I told you, like, I want them to kind of be down a little bit. We could. Yeah, I mean, you see, we got Cameron Brink, who's also on the outs. I'm just saying.
She hasn't even played yet.
Hey, but so what?
Let her recover from her injury.
So what? But you know, it's going to be fun. And I think what I'm excited about is when the Sparks get good again, and hopefully the Liberty is still good, that we can kind of have like these fun back and forths. But I'm happy, you know, you came in. I know what it's like to have a WNBA championship, 3 of them. You know what I mean? Candace Parker, Maya Moore, that was a classic. I almost shed a tear. Watching when she cried after winning and then giving that dedication to Pat Summitt, that was like, we watched the documentary on her. But I just had to bring that up, that I heard that rumor, and, you know.
I'm very interested in that. Yeah, I honestly hope it happens.
Well, see, the thing is about the Aces, like they ran it and then the wheels fell off. Now it's like, I think the team is going to kind of come apart. Sorry, Letty. I think they're going to kind of like, you know, Asia going to be Asia. So as long as she's there, they're going to be a contender. But, you know, I mean, I wanted the finals. I hated the way the brackets was because I wanted the finals to be the rematch. But I do think next year could be a rematch of last year's because.
Here for it.
You want to run that back?
I just know my Liberty gonna take it again.
Hey, I mean, well, we shall see. Man. Before we get out of here, all right, real quick, I want to touch on OJ Simpson documentary coming out. How excited are you? 1 to 10.
I'm at a 10 only because I need to know how much more about this case that can be talked about. Because if you watch the channel, we have gone through our OJ rabbit hole. We've read several books between the two of us. We've watched every documentary, fiction, nonfiction. Like, we've done it all. So I'm more curious of like, what else can you guys say about this fucking case?
I think that's the point, right? I'm gonna be sitting there looking at it like, okay, what you got for me? Because again, we've seen it all, we've read it all.
I feel like I could try that case.
Oh,
like I know so much about it that I can try it. Like either side, defense, prosecute.
You could.
I can try the case like a lawyer.
You could like prove his innocence.
Well, if we went the same route.
Well, like I should say, beyond reasonable doubt.
If we went the same route, yes.
Okay.
But I know that much about the case.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, it's insane. So I'm very curious of what this case has to offer.
Yeah, same. Before we get out of here, are you familiar with Jadyen Daniels? All right. Jadyen Daniels is the quarterback of the Washington Commanders, who at the time of this recording is getting ready to play in the biggest game of his life, the game that could possibly take the Commanders to the Super Bowl.
What?
Yes, he's playing.
Okay, I'll let you finish because I'm very curious of like who's the contenders now for the Super Bowl. Oh God, don't say Taylor Swift's team.
Yes, they're still there. They
could go to the Super Bowl again?
They could go to the Super Bowl if they beat the Bills, the team that beat my Ravens. That's why everybody wanted the Ravens to win, because they wanted Lamar Jackson to get his get back. Didn't happen. But on the East, in the NFC, you have the Philadelphia Eagles, once again, led by Jalen Hurts, black quarterback, black marketing team, black lady as an agent, black lady as a PR person. Like, his whole team is black, and he's a Q dog. And then he's going against Jadyen Daniels, who, guess what? His agent is his black mom.
Nice.
I bring that up because, one, we could have a quarterback. We could have not only a blackity black quarterback that wins the Super Bowl, but that's also represented by a lady.
Nice. I love that.
Also, his mom says she's keeping all ladies away.
Smart. I love that for him.
She said, pretty much like, people are going to be looking at. She knows there's women out there ready to get after Jadyen Daniels. She said, nope.
Not today.
Yeah, and
I love that.
So I was wondering, what do you think about that? I don't know if you heard about this story.
I did not hear about that, and women could be like such a big distraction. And as his agent and mother, she knows like this. No, we need bring home that fucking chip, then we could fucking have all the ladies you want. I love that. I'm a like work ethic girl where it's like if it's not keeping you focused on what you need to be focusing on, eliminate it. And if that's women, then so be it.
I want to root for him, but it's two reasons why I can't. One, he plays a style similar to Lamar Jackson. And they, to the point, like, they was trying to say he's the next Lamar Jackson, and he shut it down. He said, no, that's good. Former MVP, two-time MVP, probably be third. No. Lamar Jackson and the Commanders beat him, whatever. I don't want him to get a Super Bowl before Lamar. And I live in Baltimore. You think we want DC getting the Super Bowl before we do?
Hell no.
So, yeah, it's like, I'll never root for the Commanders. But I will say this, that if they are going against Patrick Mahomes or Travis Swift, I will be rooting for the Washington Commanders to win the Super Bowl. I'll be rooting for Jadyen Daniels to become the first rookie quarterback to win the Super Bowl. And I guess it would be fitting. First, they have the first black quarterback in their franchise being Doug Williams to win, and the first rookie quarterback who would also be black to win. And like I said, the best part is that both NFC quarterbacks are represented by women. And it just goes to show you, yes, women belong at the table, as they always should have been. Lamar Jackson's also, I don't know if you know, he's represented by his mom.
I love that.
And that was a big issue when he was signing his extension with the Ravens. Oh, he needs an agent, whatever. And he was like, no. And his mother was more so like his like guidance. It was like, he's got people who they can advise him on their contracts, but that's a different story. We can get out of here. But those wrestling girls. The new era is here. It's something that I'm very excited about, and I can't speak enough on it. Tell us about it before we get out of here.
Well, yes, we're in the new era of those wrestling girls, our women's wrestling podcast. We have weekly shows. Our flagship show is exclusively on Revolt Podcast Network. You can listen to it there. Of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We stream weekly. You can catch me Monday nights before Raw for Spotted, where I'm just nosy and I tell you what all your favorite wrestlers are up to when they're not in the ring.
I love that show.
But I'm very excited for the new era. We're back in the studio.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of our listeners, longtime supporters, are really happy to see us back in the studio. I think Krista B and I just have much more fun recording together in the same place. I love streaming, don't get me wrong, but it's been a really, really, really fun time. So yeah, catch us every Thursday. A new episode is out, and we recap all things women's wrestling that happened that week.
And you know what I want to invite people to do is also make sure y'all check out the shorts here. A lot of the stuff that you're seeing, a lot of podcasting tips, a lot of resources. Queen PR is using that right now as she produces that show every week. And I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Watch you just grow not only in over the past couple of years just as a host, but as a producer, as a director. And I think it's amazing, you know, watching you do all this stuff. So
thank you so much.
Yeah, keep it up.
I really appreciate it.
Of course. You know, and it's exciting. I'm like I said, I'm a fan. I'm listening to it. It gets me going, like my Thursday morning drive. I'm listening to it when I'm taking the kids to school. Sometimes, you know, I gotta it's like it's not Christmas time, and I don't have to worry about y'all saying things like, you know. So during Christmas time, you got to be careful what you listen to, especially we got a 9-year. Wow, be 10 years old next week. But you know, it's cool. It's cool. You let people know where to find you.
You can find me, Queen PR, at Queen3_PR on Instagram, X, Threads, all of the above. And make sure you check out the show. Listen, I'm on it.
Yeah, well, you know,
I'm on it. Follow me. Maybe if I get enough followers, then I might ski a little more.
Y'all can find me at Brian H. Waters on all social media platforms, being X, Threads, Instagram, Blue Sky, TikTok, and, you know, Facebook page, Brian H. Waters Talk Show Host, or Brian H. Waters B. Waters Productions. That's the only place. Like those pages. But until the next time, we out. And remember, don't let nobody get in your way. Go grab the brass ring.
Go get it.